we are going to go ahead and get started tonight. Welcome, everybody. Let me just move this. There we go. All right. So tonight, if you are just joining in, tonight we are going to do the practice test for R3. We're going to take a look at some questions on all the content that we went through last night. So I hope everybody is excited. I hope you had a great Tuesday. And we'll just jump right on in with some housekeeping things just for our new people. If you want to take a screenshot of this so you can access all of our QR codes or have the website links right here for you. We have our free live webinars, so they are up for the rest of May, and June's schedule is up as well. If you are interested in rewatching any webinars, make sure to check out this check out this link right here, and this will allow you to go back and rewatch any old webinars. And then also, speaking of webinars, Brandon has his first, what are we calling it? Like class next week on the 21st. So make sure to check that out. And then if you are interested in some additional practice questions, maybe we go through some tonight and you're like, man, I really wish I could get some more of those. Make sure to check out the Q Bank because there are lots and lots of questions in there. It says over 1,500, but it's actually probably well over 2,000 at this point. But we do have rationales in there so you can understand why the correct answer is correct and then also why the incorrect answers are incorrect. And then from many of the questions, I know for the reading and the English, what I did was I also embedded in additional study tips. So there's a worksheet pretty much attached to each individual question, letting you know the skill set, the thought process that you need to be able to answer that particular question. So each one is really customized. Now, with the on-demand videos, say last night, there was something that we talked about, and again, it was just an overview, but you want a little bit of a more in-depth look with it. So check out the on-demand videos. You can use the timestamps to go straight to the topic that you want to learn about. So it makes it very customizable for your individual needs. And then it also includes notes. So, that's all of the content. And then if you're interested in tutoring, make sure to check out our link here. I know that my schedule is pretty much up there, but if you see something or if you see a day, but the time doesn't work for you, email me at tammy.summerlin@R.3, and I'll be happy to see what I can do to fit you into the schedule and see if we can find something that works for you. We do have hour and 30-minute sessions, so that's something new. The 30 minutes gives you a little bit more flexibility with your schedule. Now, if you're looking for a discount, you're interested in a couple of these things like the QBank and the on-demand videos, but you want to get a discount, make sure to check out the SurePass Pro, because if you're going to do the QBank and the on-demand videos, why not just get a discount? And then with SurePass Pro, if you want to do QBank on-demand videos and get tutoring, you can use the SurePass Pro account or sign up for that, and you can get a discount on all three of those. So it's really kind of, more bang for your buck. All right, so any questions before we get going? All right. So now that the housekeeping is out the way, so last night we talked about 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4. So all four subsections of the third section of the reading. The first section, we talked about predictions, inferences, drawing conclusions. The second one, we talked about themes and really the different elements of a story. Yes. So let me send you the link, Katrina. Not the link, but the email. So use that email. That's our general email, prenursing@archerreview.com, and they can answer questions about the program and kind of walk you through it if you're needing help with that. Is that what you were kind of looking for? More of that walkthrough. You're welcome. I hope that's what you were looking for. If it's not, let me know. Um, so 3.2, we talked about elements of a story. And then with 3.3, we talked about different ways to analyze an argument. So we really focused on claims and counterclaims and really looking at credibility of sources and what the different types of sources there are. Now with 3.4, we looked at different types of data and really just making sure that we were watching out for those things that can be those trick questions. So all right, so we're going to jump right on into 3.1, making predictions, inferences, drawing conclusions. Now remember, with these, we are trying to reference the material that is provided and support a prediction, make an interpretation, draw a conclusion. Does anybody remember the tip I gave last night about how to look at the answer options? What's something that you can do to the answer options to help you ensure that you are making an inference or drawing a conclusion? Yes. So you want to ask yourself it as if it were a yes or no. Yes, we're thinking about this in terms of if it's a yes or no question. If you answer yes, then that's going to be an inference or a conclusion that you can draw. If you answer no, you know what? You just throw it to the side and you keep on trucking. You passed your TEAS test today. Oh, I'm so excited for you. That is so exciting. Congratulations. You're so welcome. Oh my goodness. We should celebrate with some practice questions. But I'm so excited for you. Please send us an email. I'm gonna put it in the chat. We love to hear y'all's success stories. Did that show up? Yeah, send us an email and let us know about it. I'd love to share that. And Brandon would love to hear about that too. All right, so we're using that yes or no, that tip, that trick to help us make an inference, draw a conclusion. All right, so first up, we've got a practice question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys just read them because that's what we need to practice. So I'm going to let you read them. I'm going to give you about 45 seconds, and then we'll come back and we'll check the correct answer, okay? If you have any questions while you're working, remember, use the chat, use the comment section, and once you've gotten your answer, drop it in the chat or the comment section so I can see how you're doing. All right, so I'm putting 45 seconds on the timer now. Get ready, steady, and go. All right, just a few more seconds. You cannot hear. Oh no, Instagram. Hold on, Instagram. Instagram, can you hear me now? Instagram, let me know once you can hear me. I know there's a little bit of a delay sometimes with Instagram and YouTube. Instagram, let me know once you can hear me. Instagram, can you hear me? All right. Well, we're going to keep on going. We'll see if Instagram catches up. All right, so which of the following can be inferred from the passage? So A, B, C, or D. If you selected C, then you are correct. And it looks like majority of people got that correct. It looks like YouTube's doing well. Zoom is doing well. Awesome. Did we use the yes or no? Yep. It really kind of helps calm your nerves, right? All right. So let's take a look at this one. Instagram, let me know if y'all can hear me yet. All right. Take a look. I'm going to set about, I'm going to do 50 seconds this time just because I know people were using that full 45. All right. 50 seconds going on the clock. Ready, set, and go. Our timer's about to go off. There we go. All right, get your answers in. Instagram, are you guys there? I haven't heard anything back, so I don't know if you can hear me or not. YouTube, you can hear me, right? And Zoom, I know you can hear me. Well, that makes me sad about Instagram. I hope you guys can hear me. For the person who passed their TEAS exam, I think you couldn't hear me. The audio wasn't working, but we celebrated you. We said that was so exciting and use that email address to let us know about your success so we can celebrate that with you. Okay, good. Good, YouTube. All right. And that goes for all of you. Make sure to keep us updated with how you're doing. We really love to hear how you're doing as you're working with the product and as you're, kind of graduating and going on to your nursing class schools. We love to hear that. All right, so for this one, our time's up. So which of the following can be inferred? I see a couple people still putting answers in. Oh, you're welcome, Instagram. I guess you can hear me now. All right, so the correct answer is A. EVs are expected to play a key role in reducing environmental pollution. Any questions on that one? Looks like everybody did well. Awesome. I'm so glad, Instagram. All right, so we're going to keep on going just so we can make the most of our time. I'm going to go through, but you guys stop me if you have any questions whatsoever. All right, so we've got this one. Again, I'm going to put 50 seconds on our timer. And ready? You purchased. Oh my goodness, you have been putting in some work, let me tell you. All right, we're putting 50 seconds on the timer. Get ready and go. My goodness, that's some hard work you've been putting in. There's our timer. I see a couple people still typing, so go ahead and get your answers in. Do you need the full passage to give the answer? What can you elaborate on that question a little bit more? Like, do you need the entire passage up here, or if it's like an excerpt from a novel or something? Is that what you're asking? Let me know and then I'll finish answering that. All right, so for this one, the statement that can be inferred is B. Good job. Remote work offers benefits, but also presents some ongoing challenges. All right, so any questions on that one? And I would say that one threw some people for a loop last time that I gave it. So if you got that one right, good job. Alrighty, let's look at the next one. So this one's a little bit shorter, and I'm going to see if we can challenge your reading skills. So I'm going to put 45 seconds back on the timer for this one. Ready, set, and go. All right. And our correct answer for this one is A. Good job. Organic farming reduces the use of synthetic chemicals in agriculture. Very nice work. All right, let's try this one. Oh, why not C? For this one, is that what you were asking about, Zuma? Why not C for this one? Okay, so all farms have now converted to organic methods. So based off the passage, organic farming is gaining popularity among customers who seek healthier food options and environmentally sustainable practices. Unlike conventional farming, organic methods avoid synthetic pesticides and fertilizers, relying on crop rotation. Keeps on going. Advocates argue that organic food is better. Despite the benefits, organic produce tends to be more expensive due to high labor costs and lower crop yields. Still, demand continues to grow as awareness of food sources and environmental impact increases. So it says that it still continues. What, Katrina? Elaborate. You can't just put OMG and not tell me. Inquiring nosy minds want to know. So with this one, see all farms, it does not, based off the passage, that is not a yes that we can say. We can't say yes, all farms have converted because it's talking about how it still continues to grow. So that means more and more are starting to, the demand is starting to continue to grow for this organic farming, but it's not saying like everybody. Does that make sense? Let me know if that. Oh, okay. Well, but that's why we. All right. So with the word all, yes, that's kind of like a trap. You have to be very, this one of them trap words, be very careful of those. All right. Let's take a look at this one. So I'm gonna put 40 seconds on the timer and see if we how we do with this one, okay? Ready, set, and go. All right, there's our timer. What'd you get for your answers? Instagram, how are you guys doing? YouTube, I see your answers starting to come in. Okay, take another second. Okay. All right, I think everybody's got their answers in now. So the correct answer is, I lost my mouse. There we go. The correct answer is C. The transition to renewable energy involves both progress and challenges. So that is an answer we can say yes to. Now, somebody asked me if I could go over D. Greenhouse gas emissions are not affected by energy production. Um, Let's try to see if YouTube had a question. YouTube, let me know if you have a question. But with D, greenhouse gas emissions are not affected by energy production. So we want to look back at the passage and we want to find where it's talking about those greenhouse gas emissions. These energy forms produce little to no greenhouse gas emissions and are considered more sustainable than fossil fuels. Mm-hmm. But it says not affected by energy production. So renewable energy sources such as wind, solar, and hydropower are seen as critical in the fight against climate change. These energy forms, talking about renewable energy sources, produce little to no greenhouse gas emissions and are considered more sustainable than fossil fuels. Government government subsidies and technical advances have made renewables more accessible, there we go, and cost effective in recent years. Nevertheless, some obstacles remain. As the nation grows, renewable energy is expected to grow. So really the only sentence that talks about the greenhouse gas emissions is that second sentence. But notice how it says produce little to no greenhouse gas emissions. It doesn't say greenhouse gas emissions are affected. Well, the statement says not affected by energy production. Well, but they are because it says it produces little to no. So it's doing something, but that's not an inference we can make based off of this passage. There's not enough information there to be able to make that, like to be able to answer that yes solidly. Whereas with C, the transition to renewable energy involves both progress and challenges. So this one we can see the progress and the challenges. YouTube, Instagram, do you guys have any questions? Yes, C is the solid answer that you can give a full yes to. D, unfortunately, that one you cannot give a solid yes because there's not enough information to answer that with a yes. Does that help? All right, so that wraps up section 3.1. Does anybody have any questions before we move on to 3.2? You guys did really well with that. I'm very happy to see how we did. Were we using the yes or no consistently? Was that really helpful in helping you get that answer? Awesome. I'm telling you, I I grew up, I was in that generation where we learned how to take tests, and this is one of the things I always like clung to. All right, so for 3.2, we are looking at, remember, themes, we're looking at story elements, all of that stuff, and seeing how it pulls together. So we're going to jump right on into these. I know that poetry is not everyone's favorite, so guess what? That's what I used in the questions because you need to expose yourself. Poetry is like one of those ones that we love to hate it, you know? So we're going to practice with it. All right, so take a look at this one. And I'm going to put 50 seconds on the timer for this one. And we'll see what you come up with. Okay? All right. Remember, just as a tip before I set the timer, a theme is something that's reoccurring. It's one of those abstract thoughts. All right, ready? 45 seconds starting now. All right, our timer is up. There it goes. And let's see how we did. So how does the author illustrate the theme of the poem? The correct answer is A. Good job. The use of personification to explore mortality and the acceptance of death. All right, any questions on that one? All right, you know I love some Emily Dickinson, so here's another one. We're going to try to find the theme of this one. All right, so take a look. Timer, I'm going to put 40 seconds on the timer for this one. Ready? And go. All right, there's our timer. And I see a couple people still typing, so go ahead and get your answers in. What is the main theme of the poem? Is it A, hope is fragile and easily lost? B, hope depends on external circumstances? C, hope is a constant and uplifting presence within us? Or D, hope only exists in times of success? All right, so the correct answer is, it looks like we're a little split on our answers. So this one is C. Hope is a constant and uplifting presence within us. So we see in the poem, hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. So there's where we're talking about never stops at all. That's that constant. The uplifting presence is a thing with feathers. So what do birds do? They fly. So it's kind of like that symbolism of being uplifted with the wings and perches in the soul and sings the tune without words. So we don't get a sense of it being fragile and lost. Perches, okay, so Lord, let me just address my trauma. I'm terrified of birds. I don't even know why I picked this one. But okay, so you know when the little birds they sit up on the telephone pole lines or the electrical lines, that's when they're perching. Like if they're up in a tree and they're just sitting there watching you with their beady little eyes, that's perching. And they're just sitting there watching. Sorry. I have some trauma there. My parents let me watch Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds when I was little. Well, they didn't really let me, but they didn't supervise TV time very well. And I'm kind of scarred for life on that. Just to overshare that. All right, any other questions on that one? All right. So what about this one? This one's short enough that I can read it to you. What is the primary role of the setting in a story? Is it A, introducing the main characters, B, pushing the sequence of events, C, provide the context and atmosphere, or D, resolve conflict and conclude the narrative? So what does the setting do? All right, get in your answers. And the correct answer is C for this one. Provide the context and atmosphere. So remember, the setting tells us the time, the place, the geographical location. Is it a magical make-believe world? All right, what about this one? What is the primary role of narration within a story? Is it A, introduce characters and the setting, B, develop the central conflict, C, tell the story and provide perspective, or D, resolve the conflict and conclude the narrative? What do you think about this one? All right. The correct answer is C. Good. It tells the story and provides perspective. So narration is the act of telling the story itself. And narration can also be, is it first person, second person, third person? All right, so those are some of our practice questions for that section. Now, that doesn't do let me go back. With this one, B, are you asking me what is B? Develop the central conflict? So the plot would develop the central conflict by which it develops. I'm not quite sure I understand that question. Develop by which it develops. Oh, well, that one would be plot. Well, part of the plot. It would be the climax. Is that what you're asking? Okay, awesome. All right. So 3.3, analyzing an argument. So again, remember, I know I mentioned this a little while ago, but this is talking about claims. So we're trying to persuade someone of something, or counterclaims. So arguing against something. Evaluate evidence to see is it supported or not, looking at different sources, different opinions to determine if they're credible. So are they reliable? Primary, secondary sources, and then looking for that false, misleading information. All right, so let's take a look. We talked about fallacies, so let's test your fallacies. Do you remember all of those? All right, take a look at this one, and I'm going to set the timer for 45 seconds. Ready, set, and go. All right, there's our timer. Go ahead and get your answers in. All right. The correct answer is B. It's a hasty generalization. The last person who won the lottery ended up bankrupt and homeless. Winning the lottery must, in fact, be a curse. What fallacy is being committed in this sentence? So we're making an assumption that if this person won the lottery and they ended up bankrupt and homeless, that every person who wins the lottery is going to end up bankrupt and homeless. I'm going to tell y'all what, if I won the lottery, there would be small signs, not big ones. I wouldn't quit my jobs, but I don't think I'd end up bankrupt and homeless. I would be very strategic. So you can't make, I would like to think so at least, but you can't make a general assumption that everybody who wins the lottery is going to end up bankrupt and homeless. There's some people who do good with it and they're able to just live off of what they receive. Person mentions here. So we're just mentioning that one person. We're making we're making an assumption based off that one person that because they ended up bankrupt and homeless, and then it says winning the lottery must in fact be a curse. So are you saying, so this is saying that every person who wins the lottery is cursed. So that's why again it's making that general that hasty generalization. Now, just a quick review because someone asked ad hominem fallacy. Remember, that's when we're attacking the person individually instead of whatever their side of the argument is or their platform is. B, hasty generalization means we make an assumption about a whole group of people based off of one scenario. Circular reasoning just means you're saying the same thing over again. You're not really supporting it with any evidence. And then appeal to authority. Um, Actually, did we talk about that one last night? So appeal to authority, that would be like if you say it's those commercials where um I'm trying to like think of a commercial I've seen recently that had one. I don't really watch a lot of TV, so I don't couldn't tell you. But let's just say like, oh, Michael Jordan. You know how they got the Jordans? So they're because like people buy them because they're Michael Jordan. So it's being influenced by someone of a status, like a celebrity or whatnot. Or if a doctor, like 10 out of 10 doctors recommend this product. All right. What about this one? I'm gonna put 30 seconds on the timer. All right, there's our timer. What did you get for your correct answer? All right, the correct answer is, of course, you promote Small Business Saturday. You own a clothing boutique. So this one is A, ad hominem fallacy. So we're attacking that individual person. I see where you could have went with circular reasoning because it probably looks like it's saying the same thing. Of course, you promote Small Business Saturday because you own a clothing boutique. So small business and clothing boutique. I do see where you could have got that one, circular reasoning. But the key words are, of course, you promote because you. So see how they're turning it on that individual person with that direct wording like that? That's the key that you're looking for with ad hominem fallacies. I could even see it if you put B, hasty generalization, because you think that they're making an assumption about people who own a clothing boutique. But again, it all kind of boils down to the fact that they worded it with, of course, you promote. So we're attacking that individual person. Why not appeal to authority? Why not D? Because it wasn't a famous person that was mentioned. Any other questions? Good question. All right, let's take a look at this one. This one's a little bit longer. So we're trying to find the primary claim of this passage. I'm going to put 50 seconds on the timer just because this one's a little bit longer. All right, ready, set, and go. All right, a few more seconds. All right, there's our timer. Ready? And the correct answer for this one, the primary claim was C. Equal access to education creates a more just and equitable society. Why not A? So access to quality education is a fundamental right. So while that is presented in the first sentence, that's an introductory detail. Access to quality education is a fundamental right that should be provided to every individual, regardless of their socioeconomic. Education plays a crucial role in personal and societal development, empowering individuals to reach their full potential and contribute to the progress of society. By ensuring equal access, here's the claim, by ensuring equal access to education, we create a more just and equitable society for all. So based off of that, the claim is presented. This one's a little backwards. So this one's the claims presented at the end. The rest of it are the supporting reasons behind the claim. So it's kind of flipped. Any other questions? That one gets everyone every time. So the first sentence, the second sentence, those are actually supporting reasons. All right. Now with the last section, it did that last night. It didn't put R3.4. I don't know. It just doesn't like it. Now with the last section, we're looking at data. So we're going to practice with some charts and graphs. Okay. All right, take a look at this one. Make sure to pay attention to all the elements that we talked about last night. And tell me what trend is shown in the graph above. All right, I'm gonna put 30 seconds on the timer. Ready, set, and go. All right, there's our timer. What'd we get? See a couple people still typing answers. All right. Oops, I went the wrong way. The correct answer was C. Electric car sales increase significantly each year. So we see it goes up, goes way more up, and even more up. So electronic car sales remain constant between 2018 to 22. So 18 to 22, they did not stay constant. See how it started down here and it went all the way up here? Electric car sales decreased, they didn't go down. D, they peaked in 2019. That would be right there. And then they declined. That didn't happen. They went up. Yep. Any other questions? Oh, so not constantly, but constant. That's the difference. Yes, constant would be a straight line. That's right. Any other questions? Good questions. All right, let's take a look at the next one then. Try this one. What age group spends the most time on screens each day according to the graph? So I'm going to put 30 seconds on the timer. Go. All right, our time is running down. All right, ready? And our correct answer is B, 13 to 18. So this one is the highest one. Good. Any questions on that one? All right, I think this one's our last one for the night. So take a look at this one. Which of the following best describes the relationship between the inputs and outputs of photosynthesis as shown in the diagram? Okay, so I'm going to put 30 seconds on the timer for this one and go. All right, there's our timer. Take a couple of seconds since I see some people still typing. All right, the correct answer is A. Good job. Sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide are used by the plant to create oxygen and energy. So we can see that. So see how the arrows, carbon dioxide, sunlight go in, and then out comes water and out comes the oxygen. Water would be a form of the energy. Water and oxygen are absorbed through the plant's roots to create glucose. So based off the image provided, because that's what you have to go off of, water and oxygen are absorbed through the plant's roots. We don't see that. We don't see them coming in. So we see carbon dioxide coming in up here, sunlight coming in up here through the leaves, but it's not coming in. Water's not coming in. Oxygen's not coming in. And we don't see glucose as an output. Any other questions? All right, well, that wraps up our time. You're so welcome, YouTube. That wraps up our time. If you have some time to do a feedback, please feel encouraged to do that. And guess what? I'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same place, but I'll be back with English. So if you're looking, I think we're starting back. Yep, we're starting back over with E.1 or point one, the first section of the English. So come tomorrow, we're going to take a look at some spelling tips and tricks and some general grammar, mainly spelling. We're going to tackle that. I'm going to have some nice tips and tricks for you on that one as well. All right, well, I'm going to stick around for just another minute if anybody wants to take the survey. If not, I hope to see you guys tomorrow night. You guys have a great night. You're welcome, YouTube. You're welcome, Zoom. All right. Well, I'm going to log us off if no one has any questions. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Bye. Have a good night.